Okay. So, I don't know if you can really see my face right now. I'm trying. I just woke up. I fell asleep on the couch. um, I got chastised for not giving this message. I was supposed to do this a little while ago, and I spaced it because, stuff around the house, blah, blah, blah. It's springtime, extra weeds to pull. Anyway, it's all excuses because I should have written it on Post-it notes so I could see everywhere I went until I remembered to do it, because I am that kind of person. I get easily distracted, right? So here's the message. Um, you know how in tarot they hype, and I don't follow tarot normally, but I had a weird experience summer 2021 after prayer and a whole bunch of nonsense going on in this town from people from outside the town. Okay. Exes specifically that I hadn't seen in a couple of decades. Tells you how old I am. Anyway, and they were making me feel uncomfortable, not all at once, just, several of them. And one of them, though, was camped out across the street on my neighbor's back porch. And he even tried to bait me by racking his gun on the other side of my son's work truck. And then when I came around and said, "Did you just rack your gun?" I mean, yeah, I know, I'm tenacious, but I couldn't believe it. On our side of the street, he did this from behind the truck, And then he grinned and ran up in the yard of the neighbors because he wanted me to follow him so he could do that Texas thing, stand your ground, and shoot me because I was in his yard. And I just planted my feet right there at the front of the truck and looked at him like, "You are a devil, man." So then I just said, "Let's go inside. Something's not right." I should have called the police. I didn't call the police. I'm not one of those people that always calls the police in spite of what certain people think. Anyway, so I was praying about it, and I get up the next morning, and my entire recommended feed on YouTube, while I'm drinking my coffee, I like to play a video game called Fallout Shelter and drink a cup of coffee. And I watch YouTube in between while I'm waiting for things to build up in the game, right? And I go back and finish what I'm doing that morning. And then I go on with my routine. And we're talking wee hours of the morning, right? I don't log in on my Roku or my Switch to YouTube because I like just to do it casually, like they used to let you do. And anyway, I like to see what happens. What's everybody else clicking on? What's the most popular ones? And it was all tarot, and I don't follow tarot. And I was like, this means something. So I started watching some of them. So that's the background for how I stumbled upon certain words having to do with tarot that I don't do, right? Anyway, so they keep talking about this person has a star, this person doesn't have a star. And then I had a flashback when I was little. Shirley Clownfish. Remember me mentioning her? My ex-stepmother. And also my grandmother. I'll tell you guys about that in pay-per-view. OnlyFans. I might just keep calling it pay-per-view just to be funny. Anyway, she was pulling tarot on me when my foster parents took me to my real dad's house for a play date because my real dad wanted custody, and he wanted to raise me. And she didn't want me around her kids, right? So she's pulling tarot, and she keeps getting the hangman. She keeps saying, "Hangman." So that's my first experience with tarot, and I didn't know what it meant. My foster parents did, and they wouldn't take me back over there, and it made Bob upset. But anyway, so back to the topic. So, you know how when they're pulling tarot and they say, well, you've got a star, or this person has a star, or this person's not a star, blah, blah, blah. I've been watching it just to study it, and I realized something. Your star is the thing that helps you manifest. Do you know what that is? It's your pineal gland. If you don't have a star, you are neglecting yourself. You are doing things to close your third eye. And I'm not talking about your diet and calcifying and all that stuff, okay? I'm talking about being greedy and selfish and mean-spirited. Anything that violates the 10 Commandments and the Golden Rule, you'll close your third eye. You will. And that's an extra special gift that God gives everybody to help you be highly aware of what's going on with things you can't see, not just spirits and all that stuff, okay? With all kinds of things that aren't seen by your eyes. And I don't know why they decided to call it a third eye, but you don't really see. You have like a little movie that your mind picks up, kind of like when you're dreaming. It's not really an eye, right? It does something much more important than an eye. But everybody has a star. If you are being told you don't have a star, you've done something. You need to go inward and look at yourself. And jealousy will also shut that down, especially these people that think they can trade places with you and trade your destiny for their destiny, all that silly stuff. No, you can't. You can't. And you know why? Because destiny is chosen by the Most High God, the Creator. He's given each of us a special assignment. We're supposed to be here to achieve goals and prove who we are when He's not watching, or when we think He's not watching, right? He's always watching. But if we see that He's there, we're only going to be on our best behavior while we see Him. And you know how little kids are. Grown-ups aren't any different, evidently. So your jealousy and your desire to have what that other person has that you think they have, even if you mimic it, it's not quite the same, and you're going to have all kinds of weird stuff happen, and then you think you have to do a bunch of other stuff to compensate. No, you goofball, you don't. You have to look inside yourself and realize that you're not completing your life's mission. Everybody's here to do the basics, follow the 10 Commandments, obey the Golden Rule, or, it used to be the 42 questions of Ma'at back in ancient Egypt before, the Ptolemaics. Like, they came and messed things up. They found it unoccupied, took it over, and messed it up, okay? We're talking clear back in the early times. Ma'at was not a goddess. She was a ruler, and a very good one, and very wise, okay? She was an actual person, and she didn't look like anything weird like the way they depicted her during the Ptolemaic times. Anyway, it doesn't matter. So the 10 Commandments have not always been called the 10 Commandments, is my point, right? It's just the basic things that a decent human being does, okay? I don't care what religion you are or aren't. Those things remain true in every civilization, every era, and every eon of time. And if you are jealously pursuing somebody else's destiny, your star is being neglected. You need to sit there, meditate, dream, whatever it takes, and wake your third eye back up. And you can't do it by disregarding the sacred truths. Nowadays, we call it the 10 Commandments and the Golden Rule, right? Most importantly, the Golden Rule. But it's been called different things. It doesn't matter. A rose by any other name would still smell as sweet, right? As Shakespeare says. So if you're not doing that, you're neglecting yourself. And you would be surprised how many people are in purgatory that did not fulfill their destiny, their special mission from God. Each person has one. It's your duty to figure out what that is. Some of us know it the minute we're born and we never forget. Others forget and have to go on a life's journey to discover it. And that's our main purpose in life, other than what the Torah says or the Bible says, where God's creating everything and he says, who will I create to take care of all that I have made? That's the main purpose of humanity, to take care of all that God has made. Anyway, the other part of the message, and this one seems to be the most important, is, especially with what's going on, I've been checking comments online, where they talk about these kinds of things, and people getting frustrated with being gang stalked or being harassed or their family not acknowledging them, etc. And we're all going through this, it seems like. Not all of us, but a lot of us, right? It's not just one or two people that are trying to elevate and learn more about themselves. It's like a lot of us. I got a sleep tear there, a yawning tear. Anyway, so I'm supposed to let you guys know, and I should have done this a few days ago. Sorry, I'm late on this, but you are supposed to persevere. You're supposed to never doubt yourself. If you have to write it on a piece of typing paper and tape it on the wall, then do that. People that have broken into my house because they think, oh, we're such better Christians, and they believe my ex-husband's lies about me, and they are some ridiculous lies. They found all my little Post-it notes and my little sayings on the wall, and I used to have a lot more of them than I do now because I was creating something, okay? And I didn't want to forget any of the details. But I've done it now, and you guys are about to see it. And no, nobody's not getting exposed. Good grief. There's a couple of people that are worried I'm going to expose them to the world. And I'm being very careful about how I share this, because I'm not just exposing people, I'm teaching people, okay? There's a message in it all. But this particular message, independent is of everything else that I'm supposed to share with you right now, is you have to keep going no matter what, no matter how small people make you feel, no matter how discouraged you feel. Yes, cry, throw a tantrum, scream to God at the ceiling, just imagining, I don't know where you pinpoint God when you're very upset and you just need to talk, and he'll listen. Or you're screaming at the universe, or you're screaming at whoever it is that made you angry. Get it out. I knew a family that had a tree they screamed at. They would go outside the house. They had a big yard, and it was well back on the lot from where the house was, and they would just go out there and scream at that tree. That thing was so shriveled, that poor tree, right? I mean, living things are affected by and if you feel like that tree, maybe you need a screaming tree or whatever. But never give up, never surrender. You have certain talents. Even if you think you're a person with no talents, you need to really sit and examine yourself. Look within. Your talents might be that you are really good at sports, and your talents might be that you are really good at making people happy when they're sad. Your talents might be, don't only think of the arts and science and math. Those are important, don't get me wrong. But there are 7 types of geniuses. Our academia are, focused on that, on science and math and, things stemming from that. But, like technology. But there's other areas, there's people that are psychological geniuses, okay? And I'm not just talking about sneaky con artists, manipulators. I'm talking about people that can be in a situation and diffuse it when it's about to go boom, right? Have you ever seen The Car Salesman with Robin Williams in it? that's kind of an example. But there's people that keep there from being a hostage situation, and you would never know it. There's people that are social geniuses. Some of the more famous people that you've seen, they're pure prime examples of that. There's other people that, they're just, come on, you can't just focus on like art and singing and dancing. Be real, okay? Those are good talents, yeah, but they're tangible, and there's other talents that are intangible. You're never supposed to ever, ever, ever give up on yourself. You're never supposed to doubt yourself. I mean, I'm not going to say you're not going to doubt yourself. That's not correct. But you're never supposed to ever let that go. Take a break if you need to. I've been through some crazy stuff. Stuff that you would not believe. Because I choose to be in a place inside my head that is like the Garden of Eden. Or whatever name you want to put to it. A peaceful, nice place. Even when I have a crazy bad day and I come home and I cry on my pillow, or I yell at the ceiling, or I, go out and pull weeds until the frustration goes away, or whatever, right? I always try and get back to center. And the other thing is, don't let people get you to compromise your values. To thine own self be true, right? That means that if you only drink 2 drinks, me particularly, if you only drink 2 drinks when you go out, usually, and it's not because you're worried about alcoholism, it's not because of a budget, although sometimes that has been the case, it's not because of anything else besides the fact that that's just who I am. And the bartender makes your drink incorrectly, you give your drink to one of your friends if they want it, because they don't mind bitters in their drink, right? And you order another one, you say, please, no bitters. If you put bitters in it, I'm not paying for it. And that gets the bartender's attention. And they see your friend drinking your drink. And then you have 2 of those made the correct way, and that's all you have for the night. Yeah, your friends might be impressed, but they might, it depends on the friend. They might think you're trying to be a prude or you're a dork or whatever, but you don't care because that's your policy. And, my taste buds get bored anyway. I like the drink. I like how it tastes at first, and then I have 2 of them, and then it's just, it's like eating too much of something sweet or having too much coffee in the morning. You're like, stop, no more coffee, or you've had way too much turkey on Thanksgiving. Whatever it is, right? Way too much theater popcorn. Your taste buds tell you it's not right. I mean, and then if you have certain rules about dating, stick with them. If you have certain rules about while you're making friends, the stuff that makes you feel like yourself, the rules that you have in your own head about being a decent human being. Don't care about what other people say. Don't care about what they think is a proper human being or an adult, Just be true to yourself. Even if people tease you or whatever, to thine own self be true, because you're the one that's got to live with you. At the end of the day, when you're nodding off to sleep in your bed or falling asleep on the couch watching a movie like I just did, you have to deal with yourself. You can't get away from your own self. Just think about that. And committing suicide, I'm not saying people don't go there. I'm not saying sometimes you don't feel that way, right? But you don't let yourself do it. You know why? Because when you get to the other side, you are still with yourself. You cannot get away from yourself. Seriously. And like, then you can't commit suicide either. You have to grit your teeth and think, I'm in the zombie apocalypse and I'll get through this. That's what you do. Or whatever thing like that helps you. Use your imagination like you did when you were a little kid. If you didn't, learn how, okay? But persevere. Never give up and never surrender. And there's a Mexican proverb that says, we are all in a battle for our life in this world. Be kind to everyone. And what that means is that you don't know what somebody else is going through, right? And even though it seems like somebody's got it good, you don't know what they're going through. You don't know unless you're their best friend. And even then, you still don't know how many best friends were surprised when Robin Williams took his life. And he was a very funny, adorable man. He was somebody that the world cherished. And I miss him. He came here to my little town the day after it happened, and I didn't know yet that he had committed suicide. I didn't know he was dead. And I was walking around the backside of the mall to go to my job, my little rinky-dink job to supplement my business that I've given up on, and doing something else now. And he was there, standing there in a button-up shirt and jeans with his little beard that he had for a while there towards the end. And he looked very surprised to be there, and I looked very surprised to see him, and then he was gone. And then I walked into work, and everybody said, did you hear about Robin Williams? I was like, what? No. So, and nobody's judging him, okay? But now he's stuck there, and until he comes back again, if he decides to, he's got to get other people to do things for him, the living. He has to convince them to do things. The way to get out of purgatory is to do good deeds for others, right? To fix the things that you made, not do good deeds. What am I saying? Create good causes by getting people to do things to fix what you broke before you died, right? And that's the only way to get out of that. So next time you get haunted, you might remember to tell somebody that. But anyway, let's stick with this message: to thine own self be true and never give up on your abilities and your skills. Never give up in life. Keep trying and keep trying and keep trying. It's not over till the fat lady sings, like they say in opera. Keep trying. There's a whole bunch of people that have followed me around in life and caused me problems, a lot of problems, or I would have achieved a lot more. And we're not talking a little bit. We're talking crazy, persistent, obsessed, sabotaging me at work and following me around and making me use my entire tax refund every freaking year to move me and my kids away because it was getting that hot and spicy, and I wanted my kids to be safe. I knew I could probably deal with most of it, but I did not like what was happening to my kids. And I'm a very protective mother when it comes to that kind of shit. So, never give up, never surrender. Ever. You are good. You are you. The world would not function without you. And the reason the world is broken is because people are giving up. People are giving up on their ideals. They're saying, oh, if you can't beat them, join them. And I've had a few moments like that, but never give up on your skills and your abilities. Maybe you're a psychic. Maybe you're an athlete. Maybe if you have something that stops you from using your skills and abilities, You're supposed to find another set of skills and abilities, or a way to use those skills and abilities in another way. Maybe you're supposed to teach others that are new at it. I just had an opportunity not too long ago to talk to somebody about their empathic abilities, right? And the reason there are so many of us is because we're all here to learn about ourselves and to fulfill each of us our sacred calling, our special mission from the Creator. That's what your star is for, partially. It's there to keep you safe. It's there to help you reach your destiny, your potential. It's there so that you can fulfill your special mission from God. Always take care of that. And currently, the set of guidelines that is most readily available to people is the Golden Rule and the Ten Commandments. You are worth it. All of you are worth it. You hear me? You're all worth it. Everybody has a star. If you're not getting a star in your reading, well, first of all, maybe you shouldn't do so much tarot. Maybe you should pick up a Bible. Maybe you should pick up the Torah. There's copies of it at Barnes & Noble for like $20 or $30. You don't have to wait for Sabbath and the rabbi. I have a copy. You could order it online. Maybe you're Muslim, read the Quran. You can get some copies of that at Barnes & Noble. I went and got one. I had Muslim neighbors. I don't particularly agree with it, but there's reasons. It just feels like it got tampered with over the years by different leaders. But it doesn't matter, okay? That's just my opinion, right? If that's what you believe in, that's what you believe in, right? If you are atheist or agnostic, some very quiet meditation to find your most inner self is in order. And even if you don't believe in the Ten Commandments, even if you don't believe in religion, okay, everyone would agree that there's certain things you don't do. You don't steal somebody else's spouse or girlfriend or boyfriend. You don't break into their house and steal things. You go out and you get a job and you earn your own money and you buy your own stuff, even in a bad economy. You don't know what that other person went through to get what they have. There's people that don't understand why I have a house. This house is not that great, okay? But it's my house. I finally have one at half a century old after struggles and struggles that I've been through. And there's people that don't want me to have it. They've had the nerve to stand in front of my house and talk about it. They've had the nerve to come into my house and put dish soap on my strawberries and kill them. And the police should have done something about it, but they don't. Because these are upstanding members of the community who have jobs at the power plant and stuff. Or at the BLM, Bureau of Land Management. They have broken my windows. They have done all kinds of bad things. And these are white people, okay? And the uncanny thing about white people that have a racist problem is that they can see the part of you that isn't white. And the brown people only see that I have blue eyes. They don't see how dark my skin gets in the summer. Funny, you know? Because they should know what that's like. And so there's these little groups of people that don't think I should have what I have, and they have no idea the stuff I've been through. on the eastern seaboard, in the South, in California, and growing up as an Air Force brat. Really weird things have happened to me. I've been a lab monkey for a certain group of, well, a certain bureau that did a lot of experimentation in the 60s and 70s, and I was well underage. And that's a secret you don't hear about a lot. Montauk wasn't the only place they did things to kids. But I was at Montauk too at the tail end of that. I was at a special nursery that the back rooms, were not a nursery. Our parents would drop us off at the nursery and things would happen in the back. I have been through all kinds of crazy stuff because of my ex-stepmother, who is also my grandmother. And she was married to a very famous musician who is my father, who fathered me with somebody that's underage before he became famous. Okay, this is before people were really paying attention to him, his name, and his music. So I'm a product of that. And the woman he was married to had given my mother up for adoption. Oh, weird, huh? And cheated on her husband to be with my father. Yeah, she did that. And she has made my life a living hell because she doesn't want me to tell people what I know about that. But I just did, didn't I? Oh, well. And she's in her 80s and she's still ruining my life. But she never does it in person. Oh, no. She sets up meditation gardens at hospitals and joins all these boards of directors for charities and stuff. And then when she wants to do something to me, you know what she does? This woman will get her kids or her friends to go get other people that live closer to me. That's her excuse, right? I don't live close enough. No. She's so rich she could get on a plane and go where I'm at. Okay. But that's her excuse, right? To not directly touch my life. Once in a while, she'll get it in there personally and do stuff. But usually she has other people go get the other people to go do the deed. And sometimes she gets ridiculous. She makes circles around herself, see? That's what I've been dealing with. And she gets all these little groups of people to do stuff. So my life has not been even close to easy. She's even gotten a school that I was going to shut down the campus where I was at after selling to another school from another state. And right before I went to walk with my cap and gown and get my diploma. And she got another school because they wouldn't do what she said, to have a lot of problems, right? She got involved, became a member of the board of directors. She did all kinds of funny things with their budget and made them have to reorganize, Chapter 13. I mean, this woman is so bad. She makes the Disney Wicked Stepmother look like a milkmaid, okay? That's been my life. I have had to struggle to have this house. I've had a couple other houses. And I didn't realize, what is going on? I'm doing all the stuff I've been taught to do. And now, only recently, February of 2023, I remembered something that was linked to something else regarding her and went, oh my God. Clownfish, Shirley Clownfish, she's the reason. She's the reason that my life has had such weird things happen. I don't have a substance abuse problem. I'm not involved in gangs. I don't go out there seeking trouble for others. That's not me. I go out of my way to help people. I'll give you a ride if you live in my neighborhood and you're walking if I have a car. I'm serious. That's who I am. I will take the boots off my feet, and there's a woman out there that knows that. In the dead of winter, because I see that her and her kids are wearing flip-flops, and they're obviously not from here, and she's shopping at Walmart, which means she's on a budget. If you got the same size feet as me, I'll take out the boots off my feet and give them to you. And I will go home in my stocking feet because I have another pair of boots at home. That's who I am. That's who I am. I've always been that way since I was a little girl. So, you've heard a little bit about what I've been through. I haven't told you you haven't even seen the tip of the iceberg, okay? I've given you a fairly light sprinkling of what I've been through. It's been like almost daily that I've been through this kind of crap because of this wicked woman who does that to their grandchildren, even if they have a dark secret, right? Why she would assume that I would tell her secret, I don't understand. But that's why. That's why she went after my mother, and she thinks my mom's dead. Her own daughter that she gave up for adoption. She's not dead. But the point is, that's why she wants me to not have a life. That's why she wants me to end tragically. That's why she wants me to either take myself out or have somebody take me out, because she doesn't want people to know that out of her selfish desire to climb the social ladder, she accidentally married her own child's baby daddy and had children with him after I was conceived. So imagine what that does to the family tree. So there you go, Shirley. I said it. Took me a long time to figure out why you hate me so bad. It's not because of what I did, it's because of what you did, Shirley. And that's all I'm going to put on this video. Follow the 10 Commandments and the Golden Rule if you want your third eye to work. Even if that's not your religion, just look what they're about and interpret it to fit what your belief system is,